You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Time to fire up the VCR. This one's my favorite. That was gold.
Welcome to Analog Jones in the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
And I'm Matt.
And we're a VHS podcast. That's where you say except when we're not.
Oh, I thought you usually say it, so I was just going to let you do it. But okay, well, except when we're not.
No, last time we did this, you said that. And I was like, that sounded like we actually practiced it.
Oh, I fucked it up. Sorry, everybody. It's the virus. We're all going to die, so.
Oh, no. I think all of us younger people are going to be fine.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's just a weird thing. Like, we have been, like, this is 2 weeks we have been inside right now. It's weird.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks that I've worked at home a week and a half. I don't know, even know how long it's been. Whatever. But it feels already like a month.
Oh yeah, it's weird not having the option to go anywhere. Like, really throws you off, even if you weren't gonna. Like, the fact that, like, you know, on a Tuesday night I could go to a movie or a bar or a concert, and now, like, that's all out of the question. Like, it's just, I don't know how to behave in this sphere. It's so weird.
I'm organizing my room and I'm catching up on movies that I've been wanting to see for a while, like VFW.
Oh, Lord. Oh, there you go.
You've been at this, haven't you?
I have?
Uh-huh.
2 of us. Still here.
Still here. You know where you are, kid?
In the VFW post. How about we close the bar down early tonight?
What do you got going on?
The best birthday that Freddie ever got.
Lizard! Hey, this is the girl!
It's Q&A time, kid. See, the problem is that me and my old friends are probably gonna die tonight unless you help us out to understand what's happening here. You steal this?
Boz killed my sister, all right? This, though, it's all he's got his whole life.
VFW. What is that?
Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Good. Soldiers are good at dying. There's only one satisfactory solution, and that is we get our product back, and each of you die.
You were a soldier. So are we all. Let's act like it. We set a perimeter. We make our stand.
You'll all die very, very slowly. You last.
But whatever you're gonna do it. Because you make a mistake, I'm gonna cut your heart out.
You and me both know this ain't the only option. We can push Miss Teen USA right back out to the way she came in.
It's for you that we're doing all of this.
Hey, I never asked for your goddamn help, Gramps.
The second you walked through that door, we was duty-bound to help you.
Let's go. Anybody else want to come in my bar?
Hey, we're going to talk about the new film from Joe Begos, VFW, which just came out last month.
And is awesome. I loved every moment of this.
Yeah, this is a super fun one. Basically, VFW is like your Assault on Precinct 13 style siege movie with a bunch of guys that are veterans in their VFW bar being attacked by a bunch of crazy, like, 80s style druggies coming to get them. And they're kind of like, they advertise the movie as they're kind of like mutants. They're not like mutants. They're just like super hyped up junkies that are coming and attacking these guys at the VFW.
Yeah, mutant / zombie type things. But that's where this movie, like, has a nice genre, or a nice mix of like Canon Pictures meets a little Troma meets a little John Carpenter's Precinct 13.
Yep, that's exactly it. That's exactly what this movie is.
And it's fast too. What was this, like 90 minutes?
Yeah, or less. It flies by. Whatever the runtime is on this guy, it's over before you know it. Like
90,
it flies.
92 minutes. But man, it does not mess around. It's like, here's what we're doing. This is where we're at. Figure it out, boys. Boys and girls, figure it out. And it's fun. It establishes right away that there is a superpowered drug in the future. I don't know how far in the future this is.
I don't think they say. It's like a nameless time.
Yeah, I'm going to assume like a couple years in the future. Let's say like 2022. Yeah. And then, super drug makes everyone addicted, and like, I guess in the rural areas. I mean, basically what they're saying here, this shit's like meth or painkillers, but it's like where you have to have it. Once you have it, you can never not have it again.
Right. And it makes everybody these, so spoken of mutants or whatever. And like, you're either kind of a normal person like these guys are, or you're a mutant. Like, that's the world that they live in.
Yeah. And we have a bad guy who kills this girl that means nothing to us at the time, just because he could. He throws the drugs that she's addicted to off, like, I don't know, this drop in this building. It's a far drop. She jumps after it, dies, and then her sister steals the new shipment of drugs they get, and then that starts the entire movie because she runs off to the VFW, and we get introduced beforehand to everyone in this VFW, which we have Stephen Lang is like their commander, who's playing a guy named Fred Paris, or Parras, I don't know, whatever, Fred. Then you get William Sadler as his friend, Walter. And then a couple more guys. We get Fred Williamson playing Abe.
Martin Kove's the other guy.
Yeah, Martin Kove, who is, from of the Karate Kid. And then David Patrick Kelly, which I had no idea was in this film. But right when I saw him, I was like, yes! I haven't seen you in forever.
I was obviously super hyped to see Bill Sadler in this movie and what he was going to do. And he did not disappoint. Bill Sadler was my favorite character in this one.
That'd be tough to come up with a favorite. I don't know. I mean, George Wendt was barely in the film, which
yes,
I find like he does that in a lot of films I see him in. He's like, yeah, I'll show up for a couple days. Sure, whatever. Sounds fun.
We just talked about him in Space Truckers when we did that a few weeks ago. So, here's our return to George Wendt.
That's right. I feel like we need to do all the George Wendt random cameos in like genre films, because I know he's done one in House, and there's probably a lot more.
Yeah, probably a couple Stuart Gordons. Yeah, he's been around. He does this. You're right. He just shows up for cameos or brief parts, and he just does the George Wendt thing, which is always great.
Yeah, always love him. I don't know, Fred Williamson might have been my favorite, where I'm just doing the same thing I always do in these movies, and you love me for it.
He's always the hammer, man. Fred Williamson, he's the man. He's the man.
Yeah, but William Sadler and Stephen Lang's characters did have really good chemistry. I felt like they were really friends. They really were friends offset. And then we have the two younger characters. Tom Williamson, who plays Shane Mason. He's just a soldier that just got back. He's just been discharged, and he goes to the VFW because he's like, yeah, I hear I can get a beer here. So he joins the party, and then the sister Lizard, who flies into the scene that starts this entire chaotic show off. Man, they don't fuck around, do they? They're getting drunk. We find out that Fred's having, it's his birthday, so they want to take him to a titty bar. And I also love that they call it a titty bar. And
because they're old guys.
Yes.
And of course they do.
But it's the same thing they say where I'm from in Missouri. The older generation, like, we'll call them strip clubs. But for some reason, the old guys always call them titty bars.
Yep.
And it cracks me up because it just sounds... It sounds comical to me.
Yeah, they sound like children when they say it, but it's like old people saying titty bar, and it's funny.
I know, it always just makes me want to laugh. Just like, it sounds so childish.
Exactly. Yeah.
At least with a stripper, like we're going to see a stripper, which feels a lot more like art in a way. Maybe that's why they don't like it.
Yeah, it's a titty bar.
Yeah. Strip tease. They just take their clothes off, show us their titties. That's why I call it a titty bar. And you're like, okay, whatever, Grandpa.
Like with the drugs and the titty bar, these actors, they're obviously doing like a super like 80s thing, which like everybody's doing now, but it isn't one of those obnoxious things where it like has to like, they're trying to make it look like an 80s movie. They're, it's modern enough, but it has like the vibe and the feel of like an 80s thing. And I always appreciate those more than when they're, it's super in your face, fake, trying to make it look like an 80s thing. This just picks up the vibe, and I think it works really well.
I think they go even farther into a layer because it has like the 80s punks where they're the bad guys selling the drugs, like fuck Reagan, man, we don't care, we do what we want. But at the same time, these soldiers are more like from the 70s. So you took soldiers from, at least that's how I took it. And let me know if you have a different opinion. It looks like they took 70 soldiers, soldiers from the 70s, stuck them in an 80s movie, but made it in 2019. It's like...
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, that's to a T, that's what this movie is.
And it's fun. It's fun to watch because it feels like it's such a hodgepodge that works.
Yeah, exactly.
And even the movies that they have on the theater that the punks are staying in, one of them is Cyborg 2, which is amazing.
Yeah, showing its influences, because like I feel like VFW could have come out and been like a Vidmark movie. You know what I mean? Like, so it totally is showing its colors.
Yeah, and also had Braid Scan on a poster.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
So it's a little bit of 70s, a little bit of 80s, a little bit of 90s.
It's like we made a Siege movie. It's like, hey, what do you want to put up there? One of the greatest direct-to-video movies ever made, Cyborg 2. Okay, never came out in the theater, doesn't make sense, going up. Immediately, we get two guys rush the bar after this lizard girl, and one dude, Stephen Lang, blows off his head. Boom! Head explosion. Awesome.
Yeah, it's super, the whole thing, super violent. Super gory in a very tactile way. It's not like they're using CG at all or anything for this. Like this is where it feels like almost Troma-esque, but in a good way, not in like a tongue-in-cheek way like Troma, in a serious way, but very like by any means necessary effects.
No, he blew his fucking head off, and I was like, holy shit, that was so over the top violent, but looked incredibly real.
Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, the movie sets its tone quick, and they rush outside. All these druggies start. Do they start flying in at first, or do they barricade the bar?
They rush them first, and then they barricade the bar. And
and
then it kind of goes back and forth for a while. Where like they rush them for a while, they don't rush them. It's kind of back and forth like the whole movie. Then
because David Patrick Kelly's character gets smashed in the shoulder with an axe. Which really made me sad, because I like that stoner character. He's like, can I smoke this in your bar? He's like, no, man, I told you take that shit outside. He's like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, he's like the veteran among the veterans. Like, he's the super old dude, the old stoner dude.
Yeah, he was from Korea, I think. I think Fred and him were for Korea, and then Stephen Lang and William Sadler were in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So he's just like, it's medicinal, man. I gotta use it for my... I don't know what he was saying, but it doesn't matter because weed's so widely available now. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But he's also smoking a joint like an old guy. He's not, he's not doing his edibles. He's not, no oils, nothing like that. He's like, nah, man, I roll this shit and I smoke it. Love it.
Yeah, he's a Tommy Chong for sure, old school stoner.
But yeah, he doesn't do much in this. But what he does do,
No,
I
once
really
he's
like.
once he's out, he's kind of out. You know, he's just chilling at the bar for after he gets hurt.
Yeah, and then they keep rushing him. I do like the chemistry between Stephen Lang and the bad guy.
Yeah, their back and forth is pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was fun. I also like that Lou Clayton, which is Martin Kove's character, how he's like the successful veteran. Like he's selling his used cars. He's definitely got money, and he's the first one to turn.
Yeah, he's like, I'll go over there and talk to them for you. Like he's like, I'll sell it up for you.
Yeah, let me negotiate. That's what I do. Trust me, I can get a deal done. And naturally, and anyone in the audience knows, like, well, he's dead.
Right.
But he also didn't completely. He didn't turn on his friends. He actually starts fighting them back before they kill him. So I was like, okay, so he wanted to get everyone out. He didn't sell anyone out, but he was kind of the first one to give up.
Or he just really thought he could talk his way out of this. Like he really did think that he, you know, his own hubris got in the way. Like
that
he
too.
really thought he could talk his way out of it.
Yeah, because at that point, George Wendt had already died. Thomas, that was his character. He died quick. Yeah, he just gets hacked in the neck. Bye. Which is sad because I don't really think I ever established what type of character he was. He was just like a guy who drinks at the bar, which we know it will, you know, obviously Cheers. We get it. Norm.
Yeah, he's basically just Norm in here so that he could die.
But maybe that's what he wanted to do. He's just like, I'll show up for a couple of days. But I just make sure I die. I want to die.
Yeah, he was probably like, give me a really gruesome, gory death because he probably doesn't get to do that a lot. So he was probably like, yeah, fuck me up. No, but I'm only here for 2 days.
And he always, yeah, we said this before. He always shows up in these genre films. I think he just must really enjoy it.
I think so too. I think he just likes working. I think he likes doing weird stuff. I think he's just I bet he's just the fun guy. Just a really fun dude.
Yeah, and then let's see. Oh, we haven't talked much about Lizard. I actually like her. I feel like Stephen Lang must be one hell of an actor because he's got really good chemistry with Sadler. He's got really good chemistry with the bad guy and this girl Lizard.
Yeah, it's true. He really does. And I mean, like, Stephen Lang, he's been around forever. He's kind of getting this moment right now, like in the genre and stuff like that. But like, we take for granted that dude is like a really, really good actor. Like, just in general. Like, yeah, he's doing genre stuff, but like, he's good. And he does. He builds everybody he's working with up. He's got great chemistry with everybody. But I will say too, like the younger people, like the head of the drug dealer guy, Lizard, all of those younger actors in this movie are also really good too. They're all good actors.
Yeah, everyone knows what they're doing. I think that's what's also impressive and probably why this director could shoot this movie so fast and shoot it in very few locations and still have it incredibly interesting.
Yeah, it's never boring, and you're really only in 2 spots. You're either in the VFW or outside the theater. That's it. And I'm never bored for the whole 90 minutes.
No, I fully recommend this. I mean, just get into this. It's a simple plot. You know, they fight to the last man standing, so to speak, and they kill the bad guy in a fabulous way. But we also have not mentioned Gutter. And I feel like Gutter is just the best looking bad guy. And I'm not talking about being pretty or handsome. I'm talking about her appearance is cool.
Yeah, definitely like a standout crony among the drug dealers bad guy gang.
Yeah, it's fun too because you also get the stereotypical tank, which is just the really big crony who's just you know, a tank, and it takes the entire group to take him down. Which is funny because the smallest one, Lizard, actually, I think ends up doing it, right?
I think so, yeah. Because I think so, because the big guy makes it pretty far. So I think it's one of the last survivors that gets him.
I feel like Boz and Gutter, that was a fun... Boz, Gutter, and Tank. That's a fun trio for like the bad guys.
Yeah, that's our bad guy lineup for this one. And yeah, they're interesting looking. They're good actors. They've got cool costumes. This is the thing that like modern movies forget to carry over when they're doing these 80s things. You know, you've got to have memorable side characters, and that's what makes these movies.
Yeah, and I think this movie does it exceptionally well because I'll always remember the stoner guy. I always remember the used car salesman who, like, you know, no longer feels he's above the soldiers, the retired soldiers. That's what I always got from him. Stephen Lang's just the grizzled bartender who doesn't really want to talk about his past, but clearly is the guy who stayed in shape and is ready to, like, fight at a moment's notice. Right. And you got Fred Williamson, who's, you know, he's the hammer. He's the dude doing drugs. Yep. He's doing drugs just to battle the bad guys. Like, I love that shit. You know, it was a nice assortment of characters. And Boz, Lizard, and Tank. Or no, I'm sorry. Boz, Gutter, and Tank. I mean, I feel like there's so many movies like this that they might have one memorable bad guy. And it's usually the main bad guy. It's an actor who's really good at being over the top but not ridiculous.
The last movie that did this as well as this movie did was Hobo with a Shotgun. If you guys liked Hobo with a Shotgun and kind of that 80s vibe, those kind of villains, the drug thing, the older guy actor kind of rising up again. Like, if you liked Hobo with a Shotgun, you'll like this movie. And I loved Hobo with a Shotgun. So, I really enjoyed VFW.
Yeah, I think Hobo with a Shotgun was a little bit more Troma-esque.
Right.
This one, not quite as far. So this is, that's why I mentioned, you know, like, it kind of feels like the John Carpenter / Canon with Troma, a little bit of sprinkled here and there, head explosions, blood splatter everywhere. I just really like, you know, and this kind of reminds me too of Upgrade now that I think about it.
Yeah, a little bit too. Mm-hmm.
So, which is not a bad movie to be compared to.
No, yeah, I thought Upgrade was the best movie of the year that came out. So
yeah, and I think I had it number 2.
Yeah, no, it does have that vibe. Yeah, it's got a good feel. It's got, like, VFW definitely is borrowing or taking from, like, their right sources all the way around.
Yeah, I don't think we should say much more about it. I think people should just go out and rent it or buy it. Hell, if you want to buy it, that's awesome too.
Yeah, it's out now on DVD and Blu-ray, so you can pick it up. The VHS just went up for pre-order, so pick up the VHS if you're interested in that for it. And or you could just do your usual Voodoos or YouTube or wherever you rent your movies.
Yeah, it's fun. Do not miss this one. If you're a genre fan of, you know, this, you got to see it. And if you haven't seen Upgrade yet, go back and see that, because that movie's freaking awesome. Support these small genre films that are just inspired by Canon Pictures, I believe. They're, you know, another assortment of things. Just, see them. They're such a treat. They're such a blast from the past that does it right.
Yeah, they're not forcing it. It's totally earned. The way the way they sprinkle their homages into the movie is the right way to do it. And yeah, like, VFW is definitely one that our listeners could definitely get into, because it has all those right nostalgic touches, but is a new thing. It's doing its own thing, and it's super fast paced, super fun, super memorable. I think our audience it's tailor made for, if you listen to this podcast, you will like this movie.
Yep, completely agree. So if we're gonna put something in our museum.
This is the second time I've had to reclaim my property from you. That belongs in a museum. So do you.
For this film, I'm going ahead of you. Sorry, gotta do it. I want Gutter in there. I already mentioned it. I think her mohawk, badass, you know, like, I don't know what was that, a machete? It was like a badass punk machete. Loved it.
Yeah, right. A mutant machete, for sure.
Badass. I loved it.
I'll put a character in there too. I like Bill Sadler a lot. Mm-hmm. I like William Sadler a lot in this movie. I thought he was so fun. He's sort of the comic relief of the guys. He's just the fun one to watch in the group of a bunch of badasses, you know, and he's still a badass too. So yeah, I really liked his character a lot. He, you know, he's in it for a while. I'll say that. I won't spoil anything, but he's in it. He's in a lot of the movie, so it's super fun following him around, and it's good to see him back on the screen.
Fuck these dope heads. I'm supposed to be face first in silicone by now. It's like, yeah. Oh my god. I also love how he just goes full silicone. He's just like an old man. He's like, I don't care. Fake, real, I don't give a shit.
He's going to the titty bar.
Sandler. Yeah, God. Now he's playing Death in the new one, right? In the new Bill and Ted?
Yeah, he's back. He's back as Death, which I cannot wait for. Hopefully this virus scare thing does not push back Bill and Ted, because I do think Bill and Ted is going to be the movie that saves us all.
That it is. It will clear away the COVID-19, because they party on. We got to party on, man. Wow.
Yeah, and we got to be excellent to each other.
Ted, what is this bogus ass virus? All right, everyone, go see this film, or actually stay in your house and see this film. Buy it, support it. It's awesome. Yeah,
pick up the VHS if you're a VHS nerd. They're probably going to sell out.
Yeah, I know. That'll actually go quick. They usually don't make too many of those. But, come back next week. We will probably be doing a VHS. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a random one. Maybe I'll make a theme month up. We don't know.
Uncertain times, my friends. Uncertain times.
But hopefully everyone out there stays healthy, has a little fun. If you lost your job, like, say, my co-host here, I hope it returns quick, because I don't want anyone it just sucks when that shit happens. Because when I was working in the restaurants, I don't think I could have gone much more than 2-3 weeks without my parents' help, and no one likes that. But I hope everything returns to normal so we can avoid all that shit. And yeah, it sucks. But I think we'll all pull through it. And then we'll get Bill and Ted.
Yes, and I think that's what we all need. Let's hope we have a summer. Let's hope we're all safe and still here. We'll forget about this dark, weird time. Put it behind us.
Also, everyone in Miami, stop going to the beaches, you dipshits.
Just stay home. Stay home and watch bad movies. Stay home and watch bad movies.
If you haven't seen Batman and Robin, now is your time.
Or, if somebody wants to put in Batman Forever, set up a, what do you call them? A video or a watch party or something. Let me know. I'm in. Batman Forever, I'm down. Anytime. Any day of the week.
Yeah, a virtual movie night would be fun. I don't know how to do that, but...
Yeah, I have no idea. And I've got the time to learn, but I'm going to try to find a job first.
Yeah, take care of that. You definitely need to pay for the roof over your head.
Yes. So I'm sure there's a way, but if somebody wants to invite me to one, I'll come. I'll virtually be there.
All right, man. Until next week when we come back with a VHS, remember to be kind.
And rewind.
I love it that we do that ending, even though that's only supposed to be for VHSs. Fuck it. We do what we want.